Yeah, so my name is Chris. I'm a senior financial analyst, so I look at spreadsheets all day, 24/7.
Hmm.
Prior to that, I was a professional athlete, and I'm a family man of two with one on the way.
Awesome, brother. And what was it like for you before you worked with me?
Before I worked with you, I was really searching for a place where I could find like some good brotherhood,
Mm.
and brotherhood by like not necessarily people competing against each other all the time because I was in that environment already, but like somewhere where we could just like chill or talk about like real issues I think that men face that are kind of stigmatized. Like, oh, you
Mhm.
talk about that, that's weak. And
Mhm.
so I was looking for that, and you had reached out and let me know that you got this place going on. I was interested.
Awesome. And what's the biggest problem you were trying to solve for yourself when it came to women?
Biggest problem I was trying to solve for myself when it came to a woman was I wanted to make sure that I was leading the marriage properly. And I had some hunches, but without brotherhood, it's hard to confirm whether or not those hunches are legit. And it's
Mhm.
you can't pull from anyone else's experiences because there's no one else there. So I
True.
wanted to get in with a guy who's coaching, like you, with your experience and your knowledge, and it turned out my hunches were correct.
Awesome, brother. Love that, man. And let me ask you, this is a good question too, as well, man. What obstacle almost stopped you from working with me?
What obstacle almost stopped me? Let me think. The only thing that made me kind of hesitant in the beginning, that was very faint, was age,
Hmm.
because we're kind of younger guys. But then it also dawned on me too. I remember seeing this video that was like the amount of time someone spends doing something doesn't always qualify as good. Like the guy who's hooping in your backyard for 50 years has been playing basketball for 50 years, but an NBA player is much younger,
Hmm.
higher level of skill.
Awesome. How has your life been different since working with me?
My life has been different in that I'm definitely able to bring problems to the table if there are problems to the table, and then at the same time, I can also help other men if they're what's it called? If they're having issues, then they can bring it to the table. If I have experience in that area, I can help them out.
Mhm.
And but the idea that that's even in the back pocket, I think, is big for a lot of guys. That because a lot of guys are really on their own. They have no one. They have no one there, and this kind of a situation is really healthy.
Right. Now, what would you say is the biggest difference in my process and how I handle things as a coach, as opposed to other coaches you may have worked with in the past?
You ask really good questions.
Here we are.
Yeah, yeah. You ask really good questions, and a lot of stuff I had been able to do on my own, but because you have a good outside perspective and you ask the good questions, those two combined
Mm.
are able to get me to think or reset or reframe, and it's enabled me to tackle problems in a different light.
What is one piece of advice that I've given you that has helped you improve your relationship with your woman?
One piece of advice. There's been a lot. I remember there's one specifically, and you're asking, oh, it wasn't really a piece of advice. It's one of those questions where you're like, what makes you feel responsible for her feelings? And I
Mm.
was like, that's a good ass question. Or maybe I should start doing this.
No,
That's
you're
a good
fine.
question.
Yeah, that's a good one. I remember that one clearly too. It
Yeah.
makes you think for sure. And what's one story of success that you wouldn't have been that wouldn't have been possible without working with me?
One story of success. I think it was during that same situation. Just the idea that I was able to put it out there to you guys,
Mhm.
what was going on, what kind of issues I was facing, and get your feedback on not only what I should be doing and if I was doing was correct. That was a big one because without that, then I'd be in my own on my like I'd be in my own head,
Mhm.
and that would have like I'm not sure where that could have went.
Right.
But being able to talk to you guys about it was definitely able to release the stress level a lot better, and then reset the way I was viewing what was going on.
Awesome. And now, apart from success that you have achieved, how would you describe your current now day to day since working with me?
Current day to day, I think current day to day is a little bit more, well, I'd say less stressful.
Mhm.
I think since working with you, Not necessarily like right before the success, not before after the success thing, but it's been about level because just because like I said, like you guys are in the back pocket in case I need something going on or something else is happening. I know I can bring it to the group. You guys will give good feedback on how to maybe fix it or even just listen, and
Mhm.
then helps diffuse a lot of that emotional buildup.
Awesome. And last question, and we're good, man. So, what would you say to people on the fence that really aren't sure about working with me as their coach?
I think if you had the answer, you would have found it already. You would have been doing it, but you're not, and that's why you're looking. And I think that if you're already looking, you already know what you need. A lot of people are hesitant to ask for help, but the one of the things I think is key is that you pay for coaches for speed. And so if you could solve this issue on your own, you would have done it. And you probably could do it, but it's going to be really slow because you got to figure out everything out by yourself. But you got a coach with experience who's done this situation multiple times. So he can look at your situation, tell you exactly how to fix it instead of you stumbling around wasting time. Maybe we're even wasting money somewhere else
Mhm.
on how to fix it yourself.
Awesome, brother. And I mean, do you have anything else you want to throw out there, put on the table, or are we good to go, man?
Now, well, I've told you multiple times I think the ability that you have to create genuine like vulnerability in guys and stuff that's
Mhm.
more difficult to talk about because it's a little bit more stigmatized is unparalleled. Like I've been in a couple different groups and they always say it's like a safe space, but it's the issues we talk about is stuff that's like kind of, I guess, quote unquote stigmatized.
Right.
And not many people are able to like open up or actually, yeah, like actually open up. And so the space you've created, the way you're able to do that and the way you're able to help other guys feel okay in those
Mhm.
situations is good. I
Awesome.
haven't seen it anywhere else.
And thank you for the feedback again, Chris. I really appreciate it, brother.